Hey everybody, happy day. How's everybody doing out there? It's a beautiful day here in Colorado. Dr. Ben at the Functional Medicine Center, and just want to give some interesting take on a couple things that I was reading an article in CBS. This was CBS News Online, and they were interviewing a bunch of doctors, hospitals, different things around the country, and just wanted to go over some of the things that they were saying. This is super fascinating and interesting as we think about opening back up, as we think about where are we going forward with our country. So this comes down to the thought of why did we do the stay-at-home orders? Why did the president, the governors, everybody do the stay-at-home orders? And the main rationale at that point was to flatten the curve. So it wasn't so that people would not get this virus. So it wasn't to say, oh my gosh, we're going to stop the spread so nobody gets it. That wasn't the intention, and that wasn't the rationale. The intention and the rationale was to flatten the curve. So instead of it spiking and over this line, there's more people in hospitals than they can handle, and COVID-19 is spreading rapidly and through the whole community, all those things. So the rationale was keep the infections going, but don't let it go over that line. So that's what flatten the curve means. It didn't mean don't ever get it, don't let grandma get it, don't any of those things, because we know that at some point you've got to go back out in the real world, and odds are this virus will still be out there, and there's a chance that you will get it. But it was to keep it so that the hospitals and the medical system would not get overwhelmed. So that was the rationale for the stay at home. And now as we think about how do we get people back out in the community and all those things, a lot of things to consider. So in this CBS News article, it was online if you just Google CBS News, and the ER doctors basically is what they were talking about. They interviewed ER doctors in hospitals in many states, and what they're finding is that most ER doctors are actually taking a pretty dramatic pay cut. Up to 40% of their wages are being cut because the emergency rooms are down in some places 30 to 50%, which in almost every hospital, about 50% of their revenue comes from the emergency room. But with so many people not going to the emergency room, not going out, not being in car accidents, not doing any of these things that normally would have injuries and then have to go to the emergency room, they're actually down dramatically in there. And so they're staffing, the nurses, all these different things. The hospitals, many hospitals around the country, as they interviewed them, are in a very dire financial state for being able to continue even to stay open, which is pretty fascinating when some places have a lot of patients they're working on, but the vast majority of hospitals around the country are actually having major financial difficulty right now and cutting the pay of nurses, doctors, medical assistants, all types of people in there. So that's why I was thinking about this, and I'm like, okay, we're trying to flatten the curve, but it's actually backfiring, and this is why. This is the thing that we're seeing, is that a lot of these hospitals, they're going down to one doctor per 40 beds even. And so there may be one doctor on staff at a time in that emergency room. And if there is something that happens, or if people need to come in, or if there's multiple things that happen at one time, it's actually going to do what flattening the curve was trying to not have happen, where that medical system will get overwhelmed. So every action has another consequence, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't have locked down or we should have locked down. Those are things that can be debated for years and years. And when this next virus, this next pandemic comes around, somebody better have the right decisions there, because it's looking like this stay-at-home order and flattening this curve actually backfired and had some unintended consequences as well that they weren't thinking about. Where my parents vacation for the winter down in Arkansas, a small town, maybe 10-15,000 people, the hospital there, they've let go of at least a third of the staff of the entire hospital because nobody's going there. They put all these COVID units, everything in, and nobody's going in there, so they've let go a third of their staff. And so if there is a big outbreak, or if there is a big car accident, or multiple things happen at once, there's a major concern for a lot of these medical units. Even even the Mayo Clinic, which is one of the biggest health systems in the country, their revenue is down $3 billion over the course of this shutdown. That's with a B. That's a lot of zeros. So they're obviously cutting pay on a lot of their staff. A lot of their medical team are getting let go. This is really a major issue that we're looking at for people. So pretty fascinating information. Just wanted to get this out there. I was reading that article, and again, unintended consequences. Yes, we may be saving people here, but then other areas we are having other consequences. So what's right, what's wrong, those are individual thoughts and decisions on your part. It's just that this is definitely something that needs to be discussed. And is that an okay thing that we do furlough and shut down and cut pay on a lot of these people? Michelle, we just got a message there. My sister works in tech, and her hours just got reduced, not enough. My cousin in Phoenix, they've got multiple friends that work at the largest hospital there at the Good Sam's, and most of their staff have cut hours, they've cut pay, they're not able to go to work. They just don't have enough people and enough work to keep going. So pretty interesting. Yes, there's a few hot spots that those hospitals are busy, but for the most part, even in Colorado where I live, there really was no curve to flatten. We didn't have this big spike. None of the hospitals were really maxed out and not able to handle the stress of the patients coming in. That's definitely one of the things that we're looking at is, can we sustain this? What is it going to look like long term? And really, for me, the thought I've been having throughout this whole thing is, no matter what the stats come out, no matter how many people die, live, survive, whatever it is, that's stuff we're going to figure out over the next year or two. What's the precedent being set, and who's going to make these decisions moving forward? And that's the big thing. Is what is the cutoff for when we do shut down? What fatality rate? Where are those things? So think about these things as we open back up. As you think about getting your immune system working as strong as you possibly can, and we'll go from there. So just want to reach out to you guys, give you some of that information, and think about this stuff, that there are unintended consequences for shutting things down, for opening things back up. Nothing we do is black and white. And if you've been on Facebook and had some conversations with people, a lot of times it's all or nothing. We've got to reopen, we've got to close, all those things, but there's somewhere in the middle. And that's the big thing I want everybody to do. Think about what's going on, and keep your heads up, stay positive. I'll jump on later this afternoon with an immune report and some ideas of things that we can do there. So hope everybody takes this to heart, thinks about what's going on there. Keep everybody in the medical field in your prayers that's either getting laid off or working very, very hard. So everybody take care out there.